9 tips that will make your freelance writing business easy. Yeah, I said easy. Welcome, friend. I am Sarah Turner. I am a freelance medical copywriter and copywriting mentor. And yeah, I said easy. As I've worked with so many freelance copywriters, what I have really come to just find very funny and humorous, because I do this myself, is us humans have a way of overcomplicating things and making things way more stressful than they need to be. So today I went ahead and put together for you the 9 tips that I have to bring more ease into your life, to make things feel a little bit less stressful. Now, a lot of this is actually kind of masquerading as self-care. And the thing is I know that's a little overused and we're kind of tired of hearing about all that. But quite frankly, some of the unsexy stuff is some of the stuff that your future self is going to thank you for the most. So I want you to really push back against any resistance you might have to these and think to yourself that maybe, just maybe, I'm onto something. So first things first, the number one piece of advice I have for you to bring more ease into your freelance writing business is to schedule the first hour of your day to prioritize yourself. This is probably counterintuitive, especially if you are struggling to make ends meet. If you're struggling to get that first client, it's going to feel a little self-indulgent maybe, if you're coming from the 9-to-5 world where we've been trained to be cogs in a machine. But it is the most important thing that you can do, I think, to bring more ease into your business and to, quite frankly, make your business run better and your life run better. So what you do with that time can look a little different each day. I love doing a morning routine, and then I also love spending that hour focusing on something that needs to be done in my business that I keep maybe putting on the back burner because I know it's like the next step. Maybe I'm prioritizing client work or something like that. So my morning routine generally includes like morning affirmations, gratitudes, a little mindset work, reading a personal development book, taking deep breaths and meditating, doing a little movement. I actually like to switch it up because I can tend to get bored. So it could be that, or it could be, you know what, I really need to hire a VA. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And I've been putting it off because it's a daunting task, and client work is prioritized and feels like more urgent, right? Because it's something that's actually generating income, even though doing this other stuff might actually get you to that next level. Maybe you're studying a new skill so that you can earn more for the work that you're doing, or maybe you're trying to offload some of the tasks that you have piling up. So prioritizing that first hour of your day is like the number one piece of advice I have for freelancers. The next piece of advice I have for you is to practice boundaries with others, especially clients. That might mean not backsliding on your prices. That might mean not kind of giving in to their really urgent deadline, which is like kind of has a false sense of urgency, because usually if they're saying they need something tomorrow, it's because there was poor planning, right? So pushing back on boundaries when clients are really just trying to, push you around a little bit. Sometimes it's unintentional, right? Like, keep in mind, it's not always because they're trying to take advantage of you. Sometimes they have just come from the world that we've all kind of come from, the 9-to-5 world, where we love to create urgency when it doesn't really need to be there. So push back on those boundaries. If you need more than a week to get something done, that's okay. Tell them it's because you like to do things well. They will respect that. Or they'll be not a good client and you will decide that it's not worth working with them. The other important boundary to push back on is saying no to the wrong clients. Saying no as a freelancer is almost as important as saying yes. I cannot emphasize this enough. So make sure that you're saying no to the clients that are not a good fit for you. Really, truly, that's one of the best boundaries that you can set. And it's harder to do at the beginning when you're frantic and you're trying to earn that money, but it is going to save you, because this is the thing. Energy is a dynamic resource. You've probably heard me say that before. And what I mean by that is that if you're working with an energizing client, you're gonna have a lot more energy to work with. And if you're working with a draining client, some project that might only take an hour can somehow affect the rest of your day. So keep that in mind, protect your energy with solid boundaries. The next one is to have good boundaries with yourself. And what does having good boundaries with yourself look like? It means going to bed on time, taking care of yourself. And when you slide off course, simply course correcting. Don't beat yourself up. It's wasted energy. Quite frankly, it's one of the best things that you can do too. So just not beat yourself up when you're off course. We're all gonna be off course most of the time on our journey. It's okay. You just have to be like, oh, I'm not going to bed on time. I'm eating like crap. I'm not working out. I'm not prioritizing my morning. Time to course correct and get back on track. Another boundary that you gotta keep within yourself is when you say you're not gonna work, don't work. Obviously, there's probably gonna be an exception in your career. Maybe something comes up, maybe something urgent, maybe you messed up and you gotta fix the mistake. That's okay. That's not what I'm talking about. But if you've made a commitment to yourself to not work on the weekends, stay strong and really, really honor that commitment that you made for yourself. One of the important things about maintaining good boundaries with yourself and actually sticking with it is it actually grows your sense of self-trust, which is super powerful. So keep promises to yourself and then work to keep them as best as you can. The next tip I have for you for bringing more ease into your life is continuing your education. Listen, when we are not learning and growing, we tend to get bored and stagnant. And if you've chosen the entrepreneurial path, I'm willing to bet you're one of those people. So continue your education, but be aware that, overconsumption or feeling like you should be doing a million things at once, that's not helpful. But, put yourself in situations where you're learning more, you're growing, and also put yourself in situations where you're with people who are a few steps ahead of you. It's one of my favorite ways to grow and to feel like I'm growing. So make sure that you're continuing your education. It's going to allow you to up-level your skill set and then ultimately charge more for your work and bring more value to your clients. That's one of my favorite things about being an entrepreneur is you actually get paid to learn. The next thing I want to encourage you to do, which is going to bring so much ease into your business, is to find your community. Finding your community is so good for your mental health and for the times when things get rough. It's also great for celebrating your wins. Listen, having somebody say to you, I totally understand, I know where you've been, here's what I did, and just like being a friend in entrepreneurship is one of the most impactful things you can do for yourself. So I get it. And I know it's so easy to get stuck working from home, not getting outside of the house, not seeing people. So find your people, make it a priority. It is seriously a top priority if you want to have a business that feels really good, really light, and really free. The next thing I want to encourage you to do is to get your admin work in order and also do what you can to reduce admin work. One of my favorite ways to do that is to actually pitch higher ticket projects because every single project has associated admin work that comes with it, right? And so if you're doing hundreds of little $50 projects here and there, you're going to make yourself crazy with admin work. But if you're doing 2 $5,000 projects a month, you're going to have significantly less admin work to deal with. The other thing that's included in here is making sure that you've streamlined your processes. But I want to warn you, sometimes I see copywriters and freelancers and entrepreneurs in general overdo this process, right? They overdo their processes. They make them a little bit unnecessarily clunky and time consuming. So make sure you're finding a good balance. Remember, when you can automate or systematize some of the things that you do every day or every week, you're going to save yourself so much time and therefore so much energy. And that adds up over time. That brings me to my next point. To bring more ease into your business, I want to encourage you to think about hiring someone to help you. Now, depending on where you are in your business or whatever the most time-consuming task is, that could be an editor. Now, an editor is really helpful for bringing ease into your business because one, your writing becomes more collaborative. You get somebody who you eventually come to trust, who will be a second set of eyes on your work. And so you guys can kind of bounce things back and forth. I can't tell you the number of times I came to a place where I was so tired in writing a particular piece and I passed it off to my editor. I was like, I'm so sorry, but I just cannot figure out how to wrap this up. Can you help me? And she helped me and it was great. You also might want to hire a VA or somebody who can actually help you with the admin work. That is super powerful and a major hack. So if you're at that place in your business where you're starting to look at some of the things that maybe you don't enjoy doing or you're doing too much of and it's keeping you away from the thing you really love doing, like writing, it's time to probably hire someone. And keep in mind, there are people out there who love the work that you don't love. That was a really interesting realization for me because for some reason I just assumed that, who would want to do this admin work? How am I going to find somebody who's really excited about this? But I found them and they love it. And it's so great because we are a perfect pair and we get things done and we like different things. The next tip I have for you is make sure you're having quarterly or at least every 6 months a check-in where you do what I like to call big picture thinking, where you take a step back, you're not in your business, actually schedule out the day. Don't take any client calls, don't do any client work. Truly, it is so important that you spend some time really reflecting on what's working, what's not working, what could be better, where am I struggling, where am I experiencing resistance, what are my favorite things to do, and how can I do more of them? That is such a powerful exercise that will keep you from going down the wrong path for too long. Because before I started checking in with myself on things like this, sometimes I would follow a particular path because I thought I should follow that path. And I didn't realize that it just wasn't the path for me. And that's the thing about entrepreneurship. You have to find the path that's just right for you, and that's going to take some reflection. Okay. The last one that I want to leave you with is make sure that you throw out the things that just don't work for you. Now, it's really important to push back against the resistance because when we're starting anything new, usually there's a little bit of a resistance, right? You're like, I don't really want a cold email. I don't really want to set up an onboarding process. So ask yourself, is this going to move the needle forward? Is this important for me to push back on? Am I just having resistance because it's new? If that's the case, then sometimes it's important to push back because more often than not, you start doing the thing and you realize that it was just kind of the anticipation of it all that was kind of giving you that resistance. But once you're in it, it's not as bad as you thought, and ultimately you walked away with something that made your business better. But give yourself permission to throw out things that are not working for you. If you have something that's too clunky or too time consuming or unnecessary, it's okay. Let it go. It's one of the best things that I have implemented into my business owner mindset. So here you go. I hope this helps. In fact, I can say confidently that I know it will if you implement it. These are the things that I see people struggle with and the things that bring more ease into their day-to-day life as a business owner. So go ahead and hit that thumbs up button if you liked it. Please leave some comments below. Were there any aha moments for you? Is there anything else you'd like me to dig into a little bit more? I love hearing from you guys. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, guys.